All right, council members, if we are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is our Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. It is 5 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and call our closed session agenda to order. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak, or have you received any correspondence related to our closed session items?
I have not received any requests or comments on closed session items.
All right, very good. So, council members, let's go ahead and recess to closed session right now, and it is 5:01. Thank you. We'll be back at 6 for our regular meeting. All right, it looks like we have everybody, and if we're all set, council members, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. It is 6:02. Welcome, everybody. Today is Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. Mr. City Attorney, do we have anything to report out of our closed session?
We do not, Mayor.
All right, thank you. And Madam Clerk, do we have any correspondence on our agenda this evening?
Yes, it would be in your folder in front of you.
All right, very good. Thank you. And if you don't mind, would you please call roll?
Councilmember Estrada,
Here.
Councilmember Carwin,
Here.
Councilmember Sobek,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dinas.
Here.
And Mayor Zimmerman.
And I'm here, thank you. So I know that Micah Orloff is here. He's with Elevation Church. Micah, if you don't mind coming to the podium, we appreciate you taking your time tonight to give us some words of inspiration. We appreciate Elevation Church and all the things you and your congregation have been doing with Pastor Crawford, and thank you for being such good partners.
Well, thank you for allowing us to be a partner with the city, and I appreciate the invitation today. And as I was coming down here, I was thinking, when I think of Menifee, what do I think of? And the word that popped in my mind was refuge. Now, refuge is a place of shelter, a place of safety. And being a resident here and a citizen here for the last 7 years, I can tell you that my family has been able to experience that just fine. I have two in-laws that have retired gracefully here. I have a wife that has been able to enjoy fellowship and friendship in this town. And I have goddaughters that are living with me that are growing up and joyfully, peacefully. And I can really say that this place is a place of refuge. But it doesn't just be a place of refuge. You have to have people who can govern it well. And so I just want to say thank you to all of you, city officials, staff, and everyone here, because it's a Herculean task to be able to govern anything, but to govern a city, I'm sure, and a diverse city at that, the fastest growing city in California, it's probably quite a task. So I just wanted to lift you guys up real quick and say, may you have divine wisdom, peace, strength, and courage as you govern today's agenda and any topics that should arise. And knowing that what you do today, and for all of us here, will allow us to continue to enjoy this city of refuge. So thank you. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Micah. And for those of you who don't know, Micah Orloff, he works at MSJC, and he is one of those folks that helps us whenever we have our major events and even just using some of the rooms and stuff. So, Micah, thank you for being so accommodating. We appreciate you. All right. With that, we are on item 5 now. This is our Pledge of Allegiance. I see, speaking of MSJC, I see our Governing Board Trustee, Vicki Carpenter here. Vicki, do you mind leading us in the flag salute? Thank you. All right, thank you. So, council members, let's go up to the front. We are on item 5. There's 3, and the first 2 will be up in the front. And we have Louis Vidal in the front row joining us, so I'm going to have you meet us in the front. All right, check, check. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, each month the city council selects somebody to be the outstanding citizen of the month. And we look for folks that are giving back to the community, volunteering their time, on a Saturday, instead of watching cartoons, that person is managing and overseeing sports activities and things, just like my friend Lewis here. A couple of years ago, Lewis came to me and he said, "Hey, Bill, I just want to give back to this community. My family lives here in Menifee. We love it here. I want to volunteer somehow." And so remember, you said, "Connect me with Boys and Girls Club. That might be a good place for me." And I did. And then a few months later, I saw him at an event. He said, "I am working with the Menifee Girls Softball League and kind of helping coordinate all that." He's a board member on there. And so Dean and I went a year ago to throw out the first pitch and join them in celebrating. And there was Lewis. He was coordinating the whole thing with his team. And I just admired you right there. I said, "There's a guy who cares." You know what it's like when you have, 200 young ladies, about maybe 7, 8 years old, and they're all over the place, and you do a great job in that role. And so that is why you're the perfect person to be our February Outstanding Citizen of the Month. We have a nice certificate here for you, and if the council members would like to say anything, feel free. And maybe what I'll do is just read this. This says, "In recognition and appreciation of your extraordinary service, constant support to the local service organizations in Menifee Valley, Menifee City Council commends your endless commitment to making Menifee a premier place to be." So today we're honoring you, the 21st day of February 2024, Lewis. I know your family's here. We'll take a picture together, and then we'll take a picture with your family. But I would like to have you just share a few words, because I know that you've said some things to me, and I think the people are going to want to hear it.
Excellent. Well, really, I just want to express my gratitude to the city of Menifee, the council, especially you, Bill, for all the support, the continuous the support that you've shown to our youth. The league has given so much opportunity for our young girls in this city, including my daughters. And when when we first joined the league and when I first decided to jump on and help out, it was really just to be a volunteer to help out and help the league grow. And what I didn't realize was the impact or the rewards I'd receive back, and just to the reward of having these young girls smile and be excited to see the coaches and giving them an opportunity to come out and escape whatever problems they're facing at home or at school, and just be able to just come out in the field and have some fun. And again, I really appreciate all the support that you've shown. You've always had given up your time to come out and spend some time with the girls and opening day or whatever events we're having, and for continuously reaching out and making sure everything's going well. And I feel that you genuinely do care about the young ladies. But no, really, I also want to recognize a handful of other board members on MGS. There's a handful of us that really just put so much dedication and time into this league, and there's just some outstanding people that really help put this league together. Just to mention a few, Melinda Moss, David Miller, Stephen Cordova, Isa Solorzano, Tracy Valadez, who I'm missing. There's just quite a lot that helped put this together, and I'm extremely thankful for all the time and they put in, and all the coaches as well, right? And this is volunteer based, and it doesn't happen unless it's just parents that decide to step up and help out. So, but I'm extremely grateful for again the opportunity for that this city has really provided, as well as the league. And no, I just wanted to express my gratitude and thank you to the council for the recognition and for the nomination, Bill. And I really appreciate your time and thanks for this. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's trade. Ladies and gentlemen, Louis Vidal, outstanding Citizen of the Month. Stay up here. We're going to have your family join us too. Louis even gets a swag bag. That's kind of a new thing for us here. It's got Menifee socks and underwear, stuff like that. Right? Very, very special. All right, let's go to our next agenda item. I'll trade microphone for plaque with Gina, and she's going to tell us about our business spotlight of the month.
Well, good evening. How's everybody doing? Best place to be tonight, right? Yes. How many guys are familiar with our business spotlight? Woohoo! All right. So this is our free business recognition program that says thank you to those businesses that go above and beyond the call of business each and every single day. And this month's business spotlight is LCL Realty and Property Management. Menifee is extremely proud to honor LCL as one of Menifee's businesses that goes above and beyond the call of business. Established in 2011 by two real estate agents sharing a uniting goal to assist homeowners during the recession. They are family owned and operated, mother and daughter, and 100% women owned and operated by our COO, CFO Karen Nolan here, and President Barbara Cayley. LCL Realty Property Management is all about making your property journey smooth sailing, whether you're the landlord, the tenant, or even eyeing your dream home. They proudly call Menifee their home, sprinkling their magic on clients from Southwest Riverside counties, surrounding regions, and beyond. With a deep-rooted dedication to the region, their personalized approach sets them apart in the industry. From property maintenance to tenant screening, LCL handles everything and every aspect of property management with professionalism and efficiency. They hold expectations of their landlords and tenants. While the landlords own the structure, the tenants make it their home, and they do the part to create the perfect partnership. LCL not only demonstrates a passion for real estate and property management, but also a strong commitment to the community involvement. They actively engage in various community organizations, and if you're from Menifee, you're very familiar, but such as Menifee Rotary Club, the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce, the Lions Club, Domestic Abuse Women's Shelter, and I can go on, you guys. Through a partnership with the Domestic Abuse Women's Shelter, they've closely worked with LCL's repair department to service and to serve as a conduit for addressing everyday necessities such as plumbing, electrical work, and general maintenance. This partnership has allowed LCL to not only support the community through their expertise in real estate, but also offer an extended helping hand to those in need. Through these collaborations, they've created meaningful connections and provide valuable resources to support the well-being of our Menifee community. And as part of the recognition, we provide a free marketing video in coordination with the Business Spotlight. So with that, please roll.
Welcome to LCL Realty and Property Management, where we redefine your property experience. At LCL, you don't just get a property manager, you get an entire team of experts working for you. Our in-house repair team handles the repairs, but our 24/7 support team handles everything else. Our team runs market analysis to keep an eye on the market trend and to optimize your property for that maximum result. Contact us today and experience the LCL advantage.
So Karen and Barbara, seeing that video, you guys are pretty good actresses, and I'm thinking maybe, Hollywood might discover you, but hey, we're excited today. LCL Realty has just been a great partner of ours. I think of all those Chamber of Commerce mixers that you guys hosted. You had the Temecula Gunfighters one year. You had a Mechanical Bull another year. You brought the barbecue guy. I mean, your chamber mixers are always the best. So anyway, and hats off to Marty Lands. He was kind of your partner doing so many things all those years, who recently retired and moved away. We miss him. So anyway, congratulations. I'm going to have Councilman Carwin give this to you and read what it says and share a few words as well, Bob.
Hi. We've met. fantastic members. We actually share a common bond in the community because when I moved my office to Menifee, I was in that same building. My office was there, and now so I got it all warmed up and ready for you, and you've taken it off and running and really brought vitalization to a really important part of our city. So we really appreciate all the work you're doing for our residents here. And we've got a plaque for you. It says, "In recognition of your dedication to the Menifee community and your continued commitment to improving the quality of life for our residents." So here's your Menifee Business Spotlight on behalf of the city of Menifee. And can we get you to say a couple of words about the business and how it's going?
Well, business is going great. Anytime when the market kind of, we won't call it tank, but kind of dumps down a little bit, property management always picks up. So our property management division is alive and thriving. We just want to say thank you to the city of Menifee. We confess that when we received the news that we were selected, it felt like we were dreaming. I almost had to pinch myself like, really? We've been in the community since 2011, and this is a great program that the city has, I wouldn't say just recently, but it's fairly new that they're doing this to honor the businesses, and we do feel truly honored and to be selected, and the work they did with the commercial and the coaching that they did behind that's a great team that you have put together, Gina. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And the council too. I know where the work comes into that. So, but finding out too, it felt like we had won the lottery. But it was better than winning the lottery for like a cash abundance, because the recognition and goodwill from our beloved community. And of course, none of this would be possible without an incredible team behind us for the operation. They're the real superheroes. And that was in the story. Bravely battling the spreadsheets and the tenant demands with unwavering dedication and just a pinch of caffeine every day. So to my team that are really behind us there, I want to make sure we acknowledge them for all the hard work that they do for us every day. And to our cherished clients and customers who've journeyed with us through thick and thin, I want to thank them for their loyalty of staying with us. And in closing, I just want to make sure our hearts focus to Menifee, a city bursting with opportunity, creativity, and the unwavering sense of community. May we continue to shine brightly together, illuminating the path for businesses both big and small. Yeah, thank you very much, City of Menifee and Council. Ditto that.
We have to say something too, because we all love you, Karen, and we love LCL Realty. I can remember way back when I first met you. You were so involved with the chamber and really making a difference in the business community. And congratulations, you are so well deserved. You are an outstanding business here in the city of Menifee. So congratulations to both you and your mom.
Oh, thank you. Hey, send me an invite when you get that mechanical bull going again, okay? All right, you hear that? Chamber mixer in May. You have a great support. You got a lot of support here. You have a lot of support from this council. This council supports the Chamber of Commerce and all the organizations that you're a part of. We know you're going to do great, and feel free to continue to reach out to us, and we're so happy to have you here.
It's always special to have a company that's been in Menifee for a long time to serve our residents in what you do as a business. But not just that, but what you do as a community partner in what you do. That's what makes the spotlight so important, that we can highlight those, and it's great that we're doing it to you tonight. Thank you.
Well said. All right, let's do a photo if we can. See Jasmine coming.
Make sure you don't use the flash on this.
Congratulations, you guys. Very proud of you. All right, and our third presentation item is our community services update, and I see Ms. Mitchell's here, so welcome.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and City Council. Mariana Mitchell, Community Services Manager, here to provide an update for all the amazing programs and events we have coming up within the next month. So first off, we want to start with what's new in 2024. So we've got a lot of new programs that we're excited to showcase. First one being we are looking for focused ways to help our veteran community, and so the Case Nacero Senior Center is hosting a series of workshop and resources available throughout the year. So on a bi-monthly basis, we'll be hosting workshops starting with one this Saturday, February 24th. At 10 a.m. and focusing on several different areas such as leadership, how to restart a career, how to get into college, things of that nature. And we're also looking forward to making resource days available at the Case Nacero Senior Center as well. So again, just kind of opening up the doors to our veterans, welcome them back into the Case Nacero Senior Center as a source of information and connection. Second, we have a number of contract classes that are available to residents, ranging from things from sports, taekwondo, dancing, things of that nature. And thanks to the generous donation of Robert and Donna Slavin, who donated a baby grand piano to the Community Services Department, we are now able to offer piano lessons. So this is a first for us. So it's really exciting to be able to offer semi-private lessons, 1 to 2 children at a time, to start learning the piano. So really excited, and again, just want to make sure we recognize our residents who want to give back to the community. And last but not least, for new in 2024, we are excited to be starting our summer aquatics program. So in order to do that, we need to get the workforce, which are our lifeguards, water safety instructors, and pool managers. So those positions are currently open for recruitment. We are encouraging any of our youth, anybody with strong swim skills interested in getting a summer job, to please apply online. You can go to our city website, cityofmenifee.us/jobs. So these positions, they are safety positions and do require certifications. Anybody who may not have those certifications, don't be discouraged. We have access to training and certifications and can really get our youth in connection with the right program to be ready to start with us this summer. So anybody who's interested or may have questions about those certifications, can either go to our website or email directly aquatics@cityofmenifee.us to get some more information. And again, just a brief, another item to make sure that everybody's aware, our lifeguards, we do hire as young as 15 and a half. So again, it's a really great opportunity to strengthen some of those swim skills, get to know what working for municipal government is like, and then give back to our community while earning some summer money. So again, we're hoping that we can get anybody who's interested to please apply or reach out to us. Next, we've got a brief update about our solid waste and recycling division. This Saturday, we'll be hosting one of 4 bulky item drop-off events this year. So this Saturday at MSJC, starting at 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or until bins are full. This is one of our larger events where we will have the front loaders out there. So we encourage people to come early. The entrance to MSJC is off of Antelope Road. And some of the things that we want to make sure our residents are aware of, we also will be giving away mulch for anybody who's interested in updating those gardens. Spring's right around the corner. And then also we will be accepting up to 4 tires per resident without the rims. So again, if you're looking to clean out some of your workspaces, we encourage people to come out this Saturday. Another item that we'd like to highlight is our is a program that our partnership with the Menifee Valley Community Cupboard, which does a great job at servicing our low-income families. In partnership with CalRecycle, and thanks to a grant funded through CalRecycle, we were able to expand our Menifee Community Cupboards food distribution program, which now has 2 locations. The second Friday of every month will be at Quell Valley at the Boys and Girls Club site off of Bertha, and the 4th Friday of every month will be in Eller Park, which is in Romoland. So again, this is open to all low-income families, no cost to participate. We're not looking for income qualification, just proof of address and residency. So again, just wanting to try and meet the needs of all of our residents. We encourage everybody who is in need to please take part of these, either one of these programs that are available to all Menifee residents. And Last but not least, we have a couple upcoming events. So next Saturday is going to be our second annual Wildlife Appreciation Day. And we also are going to be marking the official grand opening of one of our newest parks, Quartz Ranch, which is located off of Evans and La Piedra. The event is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. with a ribbon cutting ceremony at 10:30. We encourage people to come on out, take a look at some of these new amenities that are available to Menifee residents, as well as take part in some of the activities that will focus on conservation, environmental stewardship. We will have some animal exhibits out there, so it's going to be a really great event, and we're hoping that everybody can join us. And a couple weeks after that, we have our Youth Leaders of Menifee who have been hard at work planning Ready, Set, Future, which is for youth, by the youth, a way to kind of help set them up for success, looking at the future, what college and careers might be available to them, some additional learning sessions, as well as any opportunities for summer employment, like our aquatics program or our seasonal summer camps will be available to them. So this will be March 16th at 10 a.m. at the Lazy Creek Recreation Center. So we look forward to hosting a number of our teens at that event. And I believe that concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'm available to answer.
All right, excellent report, council members. Do we have anything for Mariana? Councilmember Sobek?
Yeah, Mariana, thank you for that. If residents would like to go to a website to get more detailed information, because so much was given so quickly, where would they go?
Our community services website would be where to find anything, all of this information, as well as much more. So that would be cityofmenifee.us/community services.
Thank you for providing that.
Councilman Carwin?
That was exactly what I was going to say.
Okay, perfect. Anything else? All right, Mariana, thank you again for the good presentation. We're going to move on our agenda now on item 6. This is agenda approval or modifications. Madam Clerk, do we have any modifications to the agenda this evening?
Yes, Your Honor, we do. Staff would like to pull 10.7 from the agenda and bring it back at a later date.
Okay, so we will make a note of that. 10.7 is the agreement with WRCOG for the streetlight extension of time. So, all right, so we will pull that. Any other modifications?
No other ones.
Thank you. Hearing none. Council members, actually, Madam Clerk, I'm assuming there's some speaker cards for people that wish to speak on public comments, non-agenda?
Yes, I do have a few requests
Okay,
to
so
speak,
before
yes.
you call any names, let me just read this statement. This is the time for members of the public to address the council about items that are not listed on the agenda. The Brown Act limits the council's ability to respond to comments on non-agenda matters at the time they're made. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes on a single item. So if you would please call the first speaker for non-agenda topics.
First up is Casson Klein, followed by Ron Sullivan.
All right, welcome, Mr. Klein.
Good evening, Mayor Zimmerman, City Council. Armando, welcome back. It's pleasurable to have Armando back. I'm here to thank the council for moving forward with wrapping up the investigation, and would encourage the council to finalize that investigation. As you know, I represent several developers in town and business owners, and these past several months have created quite a bit of anxiety amongst the development community. And for the people that I represent, we're very pleased to have Armando back. You know, I've talked over the course of, since incorporation, about everybody wants is certainty, whether that's residents, developers, council members, staff. All we want is certainty. And with Armando back at the helm, we have that certainty. So I want to thank you. I also want to read in to the record a letter from one of my clients, Andy Ceramelis, owner of Archibald's, Menifee Auto Care, and Andy's AM/PM. And I think that you were just handed this. City council members, the city of Menifee is the third fastest growing city in California and the 17th in the country. As a businessman operating 3 businesses in the city, I am concerned that our city manager has been on paid leave for an unacceptable amount of time. It is imperative Armando is fully allowed to do his job. This is a critical time period for the city, and the city of Menifee cannot be rudderless. I encourage you to finalize the results of the so-called investigation and fully reinstate him. Respectfully, Andy Saramelis, President. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Ron Sullivan, and then, excuse me, and then Francisco Urbina.
Yes, Mayor, City Council Member Ron Sullivan, 28068 Orange Grove Avenue. I just wanted to say that, the business community is happy to have Armando Villa back in the chair. I'd like to make a suggestion to the council is that they could put out a little more of an affirmative response for Armando coming back into this chair, because the way the statement read was that he's coming back based upon preliminary findings. It didn't say they absolved him. It didn't say anything else. And having worked in the city sometimes, you know that a preliminary finding that you may get on a report changes drastically when it gets to the end. And I would not want to have Armando here on another preliminary stint here in the city. So, I think at some point here, you can put out a press release that basically absolves him of this particular investigation that went on, which is difficult for a lot of people to understand on why this investigation that was a personnel matter that was done by Risk Management, which is also affiliated with the city. It didn't make any sense to some of us, but don't speak anymore other than to say that I think we should all congratulate Rebecca Kramer for doing what I would consider an excellent job filling in on the interim seat as manager, and probably, no doubt, had to do this under a lot of difficult circumstances when it happened. So I just wanted to say I hope that we resolve this this investigation, because it still has a cloud on city government, and 4 months is long enough. So hopefully you can conclude it soon. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Rubin is next.
Yes, that's correct.
Good evening, Mayor Zimmerman, members of the City Council, Menifeeans. Yes, I'm here again to speak about traffic. That needs to be one of the top 2 priorities simultaneous with public safety, because traffic is part of the equation. We need more reflectors on the white lanes. Even when it's not raining, it's hard to see at night. And anyway, the interchange of Newport Road and Interstate 215 needs some dramatic overhauls to increase the flow of traffic. And I don't know how many funds are in whatever part of the financial purse that we have from gas taxes and other grants, but that needs to be a priority. Caltrans is unfortunately sometimes not a very competent traffic engineering department. And anyway, let's get more traffic improvements and more synchronized lights, etc., more reflectors, so that all people can see well at night, even when it's not raining. Thank you very much. God bless Menifee.
Thank you, Mr. Rubina. Do we have any other speakers, Madam Clerk?
No other requests to speak under public comments.
All right, very good. If there's anyone else who wished to speak and didn't get called, all right, so we're going to move on now. We're on council member updates. This is item 8, and I will start with Councilman Carwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me flip over to my notes here. So I really only had 2 things. I stopped at the RV Supercenter ribbon cutting. I know many of us were there for that. And for Black History Month, we had the Arts Council had the Art Affair at the K. Sinacero Center. So I got to stop by there and see some of the wonderful artists producing some things from our city. And that's all I had.
All right, very good. Councilman Estrada.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. On February 13th, I went out to support Nutrition Elevated. They sell healthy drinks, and they're at the corner of Marietta and Newport, and I encourage all you guys to go check it out. So I went to go support that small business, and I supported one more small business over the weekend, RV Supercenter. They had a ribbon cutting, and I went to congratulate them on opening up, and that is all I got.
All right, thank you for your report. Councilmember Sobek.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I'd just like to report out on one thing that I am the co-chair with the Southwest Riverside County Higher Education Coalition, along with Councilmember Dr. Lisa DeForest is the chair of that from the city of Marietta. We are moving forward with bringing higher education into this area. It is much needed. We want to stop the brain drain. If anybody would like to join that coalition, come and see me. I did a filming for Baker to Vegas filming for our police department to support them. I had a finance committee meeting that I attended. I attended the Central Park Amphitheater grand opening, or groundbreaking, I should say. We had a great turnout, and you can see they've already started some demolition there, and this was a really great day in the city of Menifee. I look forward to this amphitheater being finished and a lot of family memories being made. I met with Mr. Truax Company. They reached out to me about bringing jobs and businesses to Menifee. That was a great conversation. I also attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for the RV Supercenter. I think most of all of us were there for that. It's great to have another wonderful business in the city of Menifee, and it was great to be at their ribbon cutting. Let's see here. As usual, I take several emails, texts, and calls from our residents. And the last thing that I'd like to share is for everyone to put on their calendar, and I see a lot of union guys out here tonight. We could use your muscles and your hands. And I want to thank you for coming tonight, actually after a work day. But we have an annual event in the city of Menifee. Put it on your calendar, April 27th, 2024, fourth Saturday of April. This is an event that's going on about our 14th year here. It's a big city signature event where we partner with Habitat for Humanity. And there are many senior citizens who apply, who are on fixed incomes, who need extra yard work, extra painting, rocks moved, plants planted. So there's going to be about 20 homes for that. This year we're adding a trash sweep along Paloma Wash Trail. There's going to be tree planting in our nursery. We're going to make a garden, bring back the garden at the Case and Acero Center. They're going to be cleaning up that area and fixing planter boxes. We need people who can use tools. So I see some of you out there. We could use you. They're going to be painting the planter boxes and getting ready that we can have a real community garden here in the city. The mayor's going to like this one. They are going to be cleaning all of the monument markers in the city of Menifee and cleaning the weeds around them, cleaning them off, and getting that information out. For our police department, You Are Not Alone program, the YANA, they will be doing welcome packets and letting seniors know about that. And then for those who have family, little children, we are going to continue the very exciting potting plants and teaching those little children who are 6 years old and under how to plant plants, and then they go take those planter bowls to those senior citizens whose homes were revitalized. So it's a great day in Menifee. It starts at 7 in the morning registration, and it will go till noon. We've already had Evans Brown that will be doing our annual volunteer barbecue, and we have another one in the queue for our breakfast goodies. So there will be more information on it. There will be a flyer coming soon. Put it on your calendar. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, great report. Mayor Pro Tem Dinas.
Thank you. On the 13th, I attended the Finance Committee meeting. Then on the 15th, I was part of the mayor's idea exchange with the mayor, and we discussed healthcare and technology. On the same day, the mayor and I, as a Sphere of Influence ad hoc committee, met with Supervisor Washington to discuss the sphere of influence in the Winchester area. I believe something we come to the council here in the very near future on that. And then I also attended the amphitheater groundbreaking and RV Supercenter ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Great report. I'll try to be quick on, this is since our last meeting on February 7th. On Thursday, February 8th, I attended the Rotary Club meeting. On Monday, February 12th, I attended a Scout Pack 444. They had their bridging ceremony where Cub Scouts become Boy Scouts. On Tuesday, February 13th, there was a community partners meeting. It was held at the Menifee Library. You know, there was over 60 people that were there representing all of our service organizations. And then there was a chamber mixer over at Nutrition Elevated, and I attended that. On Wednesday, February 14th, I attended the RCTC Commission, and I know that our clerk is arranging a visit from RCTC's representatives to come and give us some updates here in the coming month. And I think most of you know that Ann Mayer, the director, is going to be retiring. I know Lisa does because she's RCA, and that's under the purview of RCTC, but Aaron Hake is going to be coming in as the new director there. So it's great to have him. He's been on that team for a very long time, and he'll be a good executive director. All right. Wanted to share with you that on Thursday the 15th in the morning, there was the Mayor's Idea Exchange, as Councilman Dinas mentioned, and the focus was healthcare. And we had a panel of experts that was kind of the AI, artificial intelligence experts that talked about delivering, and Armando was there as well. Thank you. Our city manager, it was great to have him on board, and our economic development team. But it was like how they deliver customer service to and communicate with our seniors using technology. And I wanted to thank our host, Dr. Madrid, over at Rancho Family Medical Center in Sun City. In the afternoon, there was that Sphere of Influence ad hoc committee that Councilman Dinas and I were at, and I just wanted to express some appreciation to Supervisor Washington. He is a good listener, and he is welcoming our ideas for our sphere of influence in the coming months. I think we are going to have a discussion about that, council members, so let's be ready. All right, and then that evening, Santa Rosa Academy invited me to come to their board meeting to present a certificate honoring the spelling bee champion. Her name's Parker Buchanan, a fifth grader. I don't know if Ricky knows her or not, but I wanted to wish her the best because she's getting ready to compete in March at the county level in the spelling bee. So go Rangers, go Parker. All right, on Friday the 16th in the morning, there was a groundbreaking at the amphitheater cover. I was there. It was great hearing our supervisors' words and our council members and colleagues and the team, all of us there together. I thought it was great. In the afternoon, there was the RV Supercenter ribbon cutting. On all of the council members attended that. And that evening, the city hosted an art affair at the Case Inacero Center. I went to that, and Councilman Carwin joined me. It was honoring Black History Month, and all of the artists were African Americans, and their emphasis was on celebrating Black History Month together. I ended up there, Bob, for 3 hours. I couldn't believe it. I just kept meeting more and more of these artists and encouraging them to continue with their talent. So it was a great night. Today there was a chamber mixer over at Texas Roadhouse. Councilman Carwin was there as well. And see, if you forget, I'm going to cover you, bud.
Every single time. One of these weeks, I'm going to get them all.
I will. I have your back. And then this weekend is Mott's Open House. Saturday, it's on from 10 to 2. So I will be there, and hopefully you guys can pop by. Council members, do we have anything else that we wanted to add? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on. We're on item 9. That's approval of minutes. There are none to approve, so let's go to item 10. This is our consent calendar. All matters on the consent calendar are to be approved in one motion unless a council member requests a separate action on a specific item on the consent calendar. If the item is removed, it'll be discussed individually and acted upon separately. Council members, do we have any items that we'd like to pull?
10.5, please.
Okay, 10.5. Any others, council members? Okay, all right, I have a motion and a second. Let me just ask, Councilman Estrada, on 10.5, are you pulling it for a report, or did you just want the record to reflect that your opposition's consistent with the vote from February 7th?
Correct. I just want my vote to be consistent.
All right, so can we do that, Mr. Attorney? Is that okay?
You can, with the clarification that it'll be a no vote on all of the action items, because...
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, I have a motion to approve the entire consent calendar and a second. So if we go ahead and cast our votes, and we'll have the record reflect Councilman Estrada's consistent
Mayor.
position. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
You're good? Okay. And this is all of them except for the one that we pulled, which was 10-7.
You have a public comment on 10.5.
Okay, let's go ahead and take that then. 10.5 is regarding the Menifee Valley Specific Plan. If you would call the speaker, please. Sarah, do we know the name?
Yes, first up is Sarah Laughlin, followed by Francisco Urbina.
Okay. Welcome, Ms. Laughlin.
Thank you very much, Mayor and council members. My name is Sarah Laughlin, and I'm an attorney with the law firm Alshire and Winder. Our firm serves as legal counsel for the City of Paris, and I am here to give comment on their behalf. We did provide a comment letter earlier this afternoon. I'm not sure if you have received that. If not, we do have physical copies here, and we can distribute those through Ms. Manwaring. So staff from the City of Paris has had an opportunity to review the staff report and agenda items and attachments to it that were prepared for this agenda item. Since it was pulled on the 7th, there have been responses provided. And the city submitted multiple comment letters regarding its concerns, including a letter submitted on the 7th. Now, the city and Menifee have had an opportunity to discuss these issues a bit, and actually yesterday specifically. And the city of Menifee did mention that there was going to be an additional comment letter provided. That was provided earlier this afternoon, so unfortunately the staff has not had an opportunity to fully review those comments and provide responses in detail. So unfortunately, we will not be able to provide those comments at this time. However, the city would like to reiterate its concerns outlined in the February 7th letter, which I believe you've also received. We'd like to see both that letter and the letter provided this afternoon incorporated into the proceedings for this project and for the EIR, the Environmental Impact Report. I would like to just briefly highlight the city's concerns from today's letter, if I could. So first, the city has ongoing concerns that Menifee has failed to properly mitigate the traffic impacts along Ethonac Road, leading to the I-215 freeway, caused by the project's increased truck traffic along that road. At yesterday's meeting, staff clarified that there would actually be 2 separate trucking routes established as part of the project's truck routes. The first would be truck traffic routed from US Highway 74 to the I-215, located entirely within the city of Menifee. The second is within the city of Paris limits, and that would be the truck traffic route from the 215 via Ethonac Road. So street improvements are proposed or conditioned for the Menifee portion of this truck route. However, they are not conditioned or proposed for the Paris portion of this truck route. Instead, the project impacts related to the percentage of truck traffic would be mitigated with fair share contribution percentages. And it is the City of Paris's position that this is insufficient mitigation, and instead the project should be 100% responsible for the cost of street improvements along Ethonac Road to accommodate that increased truck route and that increased truck traffic. Second, the City of Paris just wants to reiterate its concerns outlined in its previous letters that include inadequate air quality analysis, inadequate health assessment, incompatibility with the surrounding areas, and SB 330 compliance. So in conclusion, the City of Paris regrets it is unable to provide those more comprehensive responses to the City of Menifee's letter that it received earlier this afternoon. However, it again reiterates to the City Council today that the City of Paris wishes that the City Council deny the project in light of significant deficiencies in the project and the EIR. The City of Paris continues to look forward to working with Menifee to facilitate the preparation and consideration of a project and environmental analysis that complies with CEQA, and looks forward to responding to those comments received this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Laughlin. We appreciate it. Mr. Melching, did you want to?
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to make sure we've got the record 100% clear on this. The chronology is as follows. The City of Paris submitted a letter, I think it was at 4:19 on February 7th. The City of Paris submitted a letter to the City of Menifee on this project on the 7th. Today, the City of Menifee provided responses to the comments that Paris submitted on the 7th. And then this afternoon, later in the afternoon, Paris provided a supplemental letter to the city. All of those items are in fact part of the record, as are Ms. Laughlin's comments.
All right, very good. Thank you for the clarification and update. So with that, I believe we have a motion and a second on the table. We'll go ahead and call for the question.
I have additional speakers
Oh,
on
I'm
this
sorry.
item.
I didn't realize.
And can I ask the city attorney, based on all of the discussion, things like that, do I need to withdraw the motion and then reassert it since we've made so many amendments and speakers and things like that?
That'll be up to you after we hear all the speakers. You can.
To answer your question, Councilman Carwin, we have clarified what's in the record.
Okay, that's
and-
fine.
But the action items haven't changed.
Next up is Francisco Urbina.
Good evening again, Mayor Zimmerman, members of the City Council, fellow Menifeeans. I completely agree with our great council member Estrada that business park component of this project, which would generate a lot of 18-wheeler truck traffics, frankly, it needs to go. This project either needs to be continued or denied as is. It needs amended. The future of us, Menifeeans, and future generations and our quality of life depends on getting rid of that truck traffic business park. Let Paris and other cities that have already zoned a lot of land for 18-wheeler business parks, let them have that. I drove from Riverside last week, and the lanes are chewed up because of increased warehouse building in and around March Air Reserve Base, and that business park component should be amended to another major retail sales tax generating center in Menifee so that all Menifeeans don't have to specifically congregate at the southeast corner of Newport and Hahn Road, which is a traffic mess. Anyway, Councilman Estrada, you are right. There are too many negative impacts from that 18-wheeler business park component of this project. Should be denied or continued. Why are we in a hurry here? Anyway, I'm in opposition to the project as proposed. Either continue it or deny it. Thank you, and I agree with the City of Paris's comments and Councilman Estrada that he made on February 7th. Thank you. God bless Menifee, and God bless Paris.
Thank you, sir. Any other speakers, Madam Clerk?
Yes, next up is Omar Kobian.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Council members, staff. My name is Omar Kobian. I'm here representing over 5,000 carpenter members that live in Riverside County and over 500 that live right here in the city of Menifee. We took note of actually that the day of cleanup. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing that with us. I'm sure some of our members would be very interested. There's many times that us in our career spend countless hours on the road in traffic. There's not too many opportunities to have a good union wage in the city of Menifee, and much less in other surrounding cities around here. A project like this doesn't come around too often, but the developer has made a commitment with the carpenters. Is going to make sure that they're going to hire an apprenticeship, that they're going to use union labor to make sure that this is built by quality members and quality construction workers in the safest manner. A lot of times we forget, our youth has been put through the ringer since they were in first grade, constantly being told, you need to go to college, you need to go to college. But the reality, the fact, that's not the answer for many kids. The answer is the trades now. We need to bring the trades back. So denying a project like this is going to deny the opportunity for many of our youth, like some here, that don't want to go to college, that want to be in the trades, and maybe start their career right here in the city of Menifee. We got to really think about that. When you deny a project like this, you're denying opportunities for our youth to be able to get a good paying wage, a pension, and a good living wage right here. These are some of your members, your constituents that live right here. So I'm here. I know this project is already on the consent calendar, but I'm here in full support of the specific plan. And a denial of this project, or even bringing it back, is a denial to some of the youth and the members to be able to work close to home. Being able to maybe, see your kid play a baseball game or take them to practice. Because God knows I've missed a lot of those, and so have these members. A lot of those opportunities, seeing their kids grow up without being able to come home on time, especially days like this where it's dark at 6 o'clock. So I know there's a lot of things people say, the truck traffic. Honestly, I've driven on these freeways without one truck on the road on a Saturday night, and it's just as packed. There's thousands. Nobody says anything about the 10,000 homes we're building in the area. That's not bringing traffic to the area. That's just where we live. This is our city. We want to build our city. Let us build this city. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, any other speakers?
No, there are no other requests to speak.
All right, I'll go ahead and call for the question then. I believe we have a motion and a second already.
Can I ask why our system never works? I mean, do I need to put a quarter in the screen or something?
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Can I get the motion, who motioned and who seconded?
I believe the motion was by Councilman Carwin and a second by Councilmember Sobek. Nope, I'm sorry. Mayor Pro Tem, sorry. I was reading the screen.
Okay. And Councilmember Estrada.
Yes.
Councilmember Carwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Sobek.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dinas.
Yes.
And Mayor Zimmerman.
Yes. All right. So the balance passes unanimously, noting Councilman Estrada's no vote on the 10.5, right? Okay. All right. Let's move on now. We are on.
Sorry, do we have a formal vote on 10.5 separately, or just the verbal note is fine, City Attorney?
Your no is reflected in the record.
Okay, thank you.
You're a yes on the balance with a noted no on the one
Okay, just
item.
making sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
very good.
Thank you.
All right, so we're on item 11 now. This is public hearing items. There's one. This is 11.1, the Mott Business Center. And if Mr. Hamilton is here, we'll go ahead and have him present the item.
Good evening, Mayor and member of the City Council. Before us tonight, we have the appeal of the Mott Business Center project. And just a little bit of background history. So the application was originally submitted to the city back in May of 2022. And the Planning Commission approved the project just a couple months ago, December 13th, 2023. And then the appeal application was received from the City of Paris December 22nd, 2023, and then of course we're here tonight, February 21st, for that appeal hearing. So the project is generally located in the northeast area of the city, just off of the I-215 Ethanac interchange between Dawson Road and Antelope Road. And it currently has an existing general plan and zoning designation within the Menifee North specific plan, within Planning Area 2 that is for industrial. So there's no general plan amendments, no zone changes, nothing like that for this project. The project is consistent with the current and existing general plan and zoning. Here's a site plan for the project. automobile parking exceeding the requirements, trailer parking on both the east and west sides of the building, being properly screened by different screen wall mechanisms, landscaping, berming, in order to ensure that there's no site issues, or the truck court will be completely screened from both Dawson and Antelope Road. And then as far as on-site landscaping goes, approximately 4.42 acres, and that's excluding any of the on-site landscaping within the right-of-way. Within the right-of-way on Dawson and Antelope, it's about another approximately 16,000 square feet of off-site landscaping on the frontage of the project site. This is the architecture of the project approved by Planning Commission. This visual rendering is at the southwest corner of the project site, so this would be on Dawson Road, looking at that southwest corner of the building. So for the environmental determination for the project, there was a draft EIR prepared for the project. There was significant and unavoidable greenhouse gas impacts, and an important thing to note is over 86% of those emissions are for the greenhouse gas from trucks and automobiles, which the city has no control over. They're state and federally controlled as far as preventing those emissions. And then the additional mitigation measures, these are all the additional categories or impact areas where mitigation measures have been applied to the project. And just a little summary of the environmental review for the project. So with that draft EIR that was prepared, it did go out for a 45-day public review period in September, October, and November of 2023. And during that time period, we did receive 9 comment letters, which were all adequately addressed within the EIR. And one of those comment letters being the City of Paris. So just to note, for tonight's meeting, there is no CEQA analysis that's required to either approve or deny the appeal. So now jumping into the appeal letter that was received. So again, it was received December 22nd, 2023. So the letter primarily concerned 4 different impact areas, so claiming deficiencies in the project's environmental impact report. So cumulative impacts, transportation impacts, air quality, and alternatives. So we'll go through just each one of those one at a time as we go through. So starting off with cumulative impacts. So generally speaking, the cumulative impacts is not just looking at as it implies, not just the impacts of the project, but also any of the cumulative impacts of projects within the surrounding area. So all of those are taken into account so that we're not just looking at the project itself, we're looking at it again from a cumulative approach, from a growth-inducing impact approach, and all of those are adequately addressed within the EIR. So the traffic study did analyze, mitigate, and disclose all of those impacts within the draft EIR. So we're confident that all of the recommended improvements that were made and mitigation measures address the cumulative impacts. Moving on to the transportation impacts. So one of the things that the City of Paris had mentioned was a request to do additional analysis based on different types of analysis. So one of those was to analyze some of the intersections that do overlap and touch with the City of Paris. So we did go ahead, and additional analysis was conducted with the City of Paris standards, as well as different standards with South Coast Air Quality Management District, as well as updated ITE standards with the 11th edition. And based on all of that additional analysis, which the City Council has been provided with, and its summary is included within the agenda packet for this item, the recommended improvements remain the same. There's no changes that additional analysis brought on. The third appeal point item was related to air quality impacts. So the air quality impacts and some of the other, transportation cumulative impacts, a lot of it goes hand in hand, where it's kind of this trickle-down effect, right? Where if you have a different trip generation number, then you could potentially have a greater amount of vehicles, therefore greater, air quality impacts. So again, we ran that additional analysis with the AQMD numbers versus the different truck trips percentages that were used, and essentially it came back that there was no significant difference based on the analysis that was run, and there's no new or modified mitigation measures that would be needed based on that additional analysis that was done. And then fourth, the alternatives analysis. So for every draft DIR, the California Environmental Quality Act requires that alternatives be analyzed for the project. So for this project in particular, there were 3 additional alternatives that were analyzed. So there's no specific mandate to evaluate a specific number. And 3 is actually a very common number of alternatives that is used. It just needs to be enough alternatives, as it says, to foster informed decision making, because that's really what the draft DIR document is. It's a disclosure document for information for the decision makers. And so the EIR also only needs to analyze alternatives that the lead agency determines could feasibly attain most of the basic objectives of the project. So if an alternative can't even meet those basic objectives, then it is not required to be analyzed. So the 3 alternatives that are in the project EIR, they do contain all the necessary items that they need, and they fully comply with CEQA. So before we jump into the recommendation on the last thing here, we did receive an additional comment letter from the City of Paris this afternoon, and we've reviewed the comments that were provided and feel that there are no additional comments that were made, new comments that need to be addressed or would require a response at this time. So the recommendation is to adopt a resolution that upholds the Planning Commission's approval of the project and deny appeal number PLN 23-0249. So staff and the applicant, our CEQA consultant, they're all here for any questions that you may have for us. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Council members, this is a time for questions. I see Councilman Carwin's in the queue.
Thank you. I have a question for staff on the actual conditions of the project. Maybe somebody can answer. So the project is along Antelope. There's a section between McLaughlin and the start of the project along Antelope, which is currently unpaved. Does this project include a condition that that be paved, or will that remain a dirt road when this project is completed?
Yeah, so there is a condition of approval in the engineering section that would require paving from the project southerly border all the way down to McLaughlin Road. So I don't know exactly the width dimensions on it, but it would be for both north and southbound travel lanes.
Okay, because I was concerned with that as it pertains to traffic analysis and air quality and all those other kinds of things with trucks when I go down there. And is that going to be there won't be any trucks going to McLaughlin?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So yeah, it would just be to provide additional automobile movement. But yeah, there would be no trucks headed south of this project site. It would all be going northbound towards Ethanek and towards the I-215 interchange.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Next up, Councilmember Sobek with a question.
Yes, I'm glad your CEQA representatives are here. It just seems like as we receive more and more of these letters from our neighboring city, they are constantly bringing up the greenhouse emission impacts and air quality impacts. And with the new regulations coming forward in the state of California, when will we quit looking at that, as those trucks will need to be changed over to electric or whatever? So can someone answer that question?
We'll get our experts here.
Hi, I'm Ace Melissus with Kimley Horn.
Welcome.
I worked on the GHG section for the EIR. You're correct. GHG emissions are heavily regulated by the state, especially the mobile source emissions. There's lots of regulations requiring EVs, electric vehicles, to come into the market in future years. So as those penetrate the market, we will see an improvement in the GHG emissions. As to when, we won't have to analyze that anymore. You know, your guess is as good as mine. You know, our regulations continue to get more and more stringent. So, you know,
So when are large trucks supposed to follow the state mandate of EV? Is that 2030?
Yeah, 2036. I mean, there's requirements, there's lots of different requirements. You have the advanced clean truck rule, you have the advanced clean fleets, among others, and those require progressive implementation of new electric vehicles, electric trucks into the, that need to be sold. So it depends on when the new vehicles are purchased and, when they hit the road. The South Coast Air Quality Management District also has a indirect source rule for warehouses, and that requires either a certain amount of electric trucks and electric vehicles, or in lieu fees, which then go to providing grants for those improvements and cleaner vehicles.
I appreciate you answering that. I know it wasn't directly related, but it is related. I keep
Absolutely.
seeing these, and we're hearing more and more of that change. So I know I caught you off guard, so thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks.
All right, next up is Councilman Estrada.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple questions for the applicant and staff. My first question is, Commissioner Ledoux mentioned implementing 36 square inch, I think that was the dimensions he mentioned, 36 square inch trees instead of 24 square inch trees as a buffer between the residents and the warehouses. Did staff and the applicant come to an agreement on that?
Yeah, so that would be along the northern boundary of the project site, as you mentioned, between the project site and some of those existing residences along Ethanek. So that is something that we discussed with the applicant the day after that public planning commission meeting. So essentially, what was determined by the end of the meeting was that it would probably be best to actually have a mix of both 24-inch box and 36-inch box trees, just because if you have all of them at the same size, kind of right at the get-go at the beginning. So really what it all boiled down to is when the applicant does work with their landscape consultant and submits the construction landscape drawings, that would be one item that we would pay particular attention to. Not only the size of the tree, but also the species of the tree, because I think the intent of the comment, I think as he clarified even later on, was that being able to get the necessary screening for that. It's not necessarily just the size of the tree, but also the tree species in order to get the nice spread and height to get a better screening and buffer for those residences.
Okay, thank you for helping with that. And the next question I had was Commissioner Long brought up a question whether this warehouse would be used for purely storage or point of sale, final assembly. Any update on the tenant? I know it's been a short period, but is it still a question mark on who the tenant would be?
All right, welcome, Mr. Kelly.
Good evening. John Kelly with Core 5 Industrial Partners. So to answer your question, we'll build at spec, all right, but we are entertaining some build-to-suit opportunities right now. And those build-to-suit opportunities would come with some type of fulfillment or e-commerce.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
Yeah.
All right, council members, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at 7:15. Madam Clerk, was this item legally noticed, and did you receive any correspondence on this item?
Yes, it was legally noticed. And if there was correspondence on this item, it would be in your folder.
All right, thank you. Do we have any public testimony on item 11.1?
Yes, I do have a few requests to speak.
All right.
First up is Jonathan Daly.
Welcome, Mr. Daly.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jonathan Daly. I'm a Marine Corps veteran and very proud member of LIUNA Laborers Union. I would like to start by thanking you for allowing me to speak on behalf of all of our members and families that we work so hard to support. One thing I would like to highlight is our state-recognized apprenticeship program ensures a constant skilled workforce for the future. And with that, projects like these give us a chance to give back to our community, give some a second chance in life like myself, and put food on our tables. These meetings are extremely important for us because these projects allow us to continue to work and not worry about where our next job will be, and that the people we love will be taken care of. That being said, I can tell you that this is a very responsible developer that will provide great union contractors who supply a well-trained union workforce and who builds to the highest standards, and it is an absolute honor to be a part of that. We are with staff on the denial of this appeal and wish to move forward with this project and allow us to continue to build and serve our community to provide for our families. Thank you very much and enjoy your night.
All right, thank you, Mr. Daly.
Next up is Sarah Laughlin.
Hello again, Mayor and council members. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak. My name, once again, is Sarah Laughlin, and I am an attorney with the law firm of Alshire and Winder. We serve as legal counsel for the City of Paris, and I present these comments on their behalf. So staff from the City of Paris has the opportunity again to review the agenda report and the agenda items for this appeal, which includes responses from the City of Menifee in response to the City of Paris's December 13th appeal letter, which accompanied the actual appeal. The city has submitted a new comment letter this afternoon, which again I believe has been provided to you, and if not, we do have physical copies in the room, once again, we can provide to the city clerk. And the city, again, respectfully requests that this new comment letter be placed in the record of proceedings for the project and the EIR, Environmental Impact Report. I would like to highlight several points made in our letter today. First, the City of Paris maintains that even though we've received responses from Menifee and additional analysis has been done, Menifee has failed to properly analyze the traffic impacts to certain intersections impacted by the project that are located within the City of Paris specifically. Those intersections include intersection number 5, intersection number 6, intersection number 9. Therefore, it's the City of Paris's position that those intersections should be analyzed according to the City of Paris's standards, not the City of Menifee's criteria, even though the project is within the City of Menifee. Because those impacts, again, will be felt within the City of Paris. Second, the City of Paris maintains that Menifee has failed to sufficiently detail the improvements that the project applicant will be required to make along Ethenac Road, intersection number 7 and intersection number 9, which are all currently part of the project. In the responses and in the initial environmental impact report, Menifee appears to allude that the project will construct project-specific improvements along that Ethenac Road corridor, but it is unclear exactly what improvements will be required. On one hand, it appears that the project might be 100% responsible for ensuring that all improvements are installed, but at the moment, the project only requires that the fair share contributions are made for those improvements. And Menifee has not provided additional clarification regarding those improvements. Additionally, the project will have a direct impact to intersection number 9 and intersection number 7. If analyzed against the City of Paris standards, a direct impact means that the project must be 100% responsible for ensuring that all necessary improvements are installed to offset these impacts or via some other defined improvement program. And Menifee has continually failed to clarify exactly how these improvements would be implemented and who would be responsible for providing or for funding these improvements. City of Paris maintains that for direct project impacts, such as to these intersections, fair share contributions is not enough to offset those impacts. Third, Paris continues to be concerned about the project's impact to the queuing and progression.
Ms. Laughlin, your time is up.
Just make a few closing remarks, if possible.
If you can wrap it up in a minute or so.
Thank you, Mayor.
Please.
Continues to be concerned about the queuing along Ethenac Road and the I-215 exchange for safety. And finally, the City of Paris maintains that cumulative project impacts on the east side of 215, as well as the west side of 215, needs to be incorporated into the traffic impact analysis. That's the TIA. So again, the City of Paris looks forward to working with Menifee to facilitate the preparation and consideration of the project and an environmental analysis that complies with CEQA. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Laughlin. Any other speakers, Madam Clerk?
Yes, next up is Molly Biddle.
All right, welcome, Ms. Biddle.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I appreciate the opportunity to express my opinion as a homeowner that will be directly affected by this project should the city of Menifee allow it to proceed. My house is located on the corner of Dawson and Ethonac, and I have to tell you, my husband and I had been looking to buy a house for about 5 years. So when he first showed me this house that was located on the corner, I was just grateful we were in separate cars because I cried the entire way home. This house was deplorable. I didn't know if I was more concerned about this property or my husband's mental state of mind for wanting to purchase this property, but needless to say, we bought it and we closed our escrow in October this last year. And I have not regretted it 1 minute. We are making our house a home where our 4 granddaughters can come and play. And we've created a space for my elderly parents to move in next month. This house has allowed us the opportunity to give my parents a completely separate living area so they can live comfortably and independently and enjoy their remaining years happily. We have completed about 75% of construction on the inside of our house and look forward to starting the outside this spring. So when my husband had sent me a picture of the posted billboard that this was a proposed project was going to happen in my backyard, I was furious. I was ready to call the city, the developer, my son, who is an influencer on Instagram and YouTube, and I was ready to protest. But I had a moment of clarity before I reacted. This house that we purchased has allowed us more opportunity that were not initially visible to me. This new construction is just another opportunity. Dawson will be paved. That alone is enough said. The illegal trash dumping will no longer be an issue in the empty field behind us, and the city of Menifee will not have to hear the Biddles complain about the illegal trash dumping. We've had theft issues. There are homeless living in the fields with their animals, and putting a stoplight at the corner will allow me to pull onto Ethonac Road in a timely manner so that I am no longer late to work on Monday morning. My dad's excitement for this project is almost obnoxious. If you don't know him, you might even think he was being sarcastic.
Ms. Biddle, your time is up.
Thank you. I would like to say one more thing. As most of us have driven through the city of Paris, my daughter was a teacher at the high school there, and had issues with security. She no longer teaches there. But I am of the opinion the city of Paris needs to look in their own backyard before they start worrying about mine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Biddle. We appreciate you coming and taking your time and sharing your concerns. All right.
Next up is John Gentleman.
If you'd restate your name, sir, we appreciate it.
No problem. It gets hacked up all the time. So. My name is John Gentilon. Good evening, Mayor and council persons. My name is John Gentilon. I am a property owner and a housing owner on the other end of Dawson Road. I've been on the property for 18 years. I am so tired of people talking about the AQMD when we've had to live in a dust storm on that dirt road for so long. So I would appreciate this project being passed. It's going to bring great income to your city and also solve a major problem, as they've expressed, the trash, the homeless, the dust alone. So complaining about an AQMD report to me from the city of Paris is quite a joke. And thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, sir. We appreciate you taking your time.
Next up is Francisco Urbina.
Hello again, Mayor Zimmerman, members of City Council. It really pains me when I see under closed agenda items the cities of Menifee and Paris, cross litigating each other. Has anyone ever proposed a town hall meeting that would allow both residents of Paris and Menifeeans with appropriate professional staff to try to work out these issues, or maybe have a joint transportation element that covers the common area boundary impacts of a dividing lines, major arterial such as Menifee and Paris, instead as having a situation where we're always in litigation with a neighboring city, blah blah blah. And I do not agree with the Air Resources Board or the current governor, who really needs to have his head examined, or a lobotomy, that all new vehicles, including 18-wheelers, must be all electric. Tesla never tells you, or other electric vehicle manufacturers, that when there is a fire in one of these electric vehicles, it can burn 4,000 to 5,000 degrees, and local fire departments are not equipped for that. There is plenty of compressed natural gas as an alternative for cleaner vehicles, blah, blah, blah. But there's probably some valid points that both cities have, but do we have to be litigating it at each other's throats? I mean, we have to be neighbors. Anyway, thank you very much. God bless Paris and Menifee.
Thank you, Mr. Urbina.
There are no other requests to speak.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. It's 7:28. Council members, it's open for discussion if anyone would like to lead off. I don't see any, but I do want to make a comment. I noticed that, and Ms. Laughlin brought it up, has to do with Paris's concerns about cumulative impacts, and that maybe the city failed to consider. And I was reading a letter that they had sent that we failed to consider a marijuana manufacturing plant in Paris. That's something I think we need to look into. I was unaware of that, and I see so many dispensaries over in Paris and now manufacturing. I'm just starting to wonder if it's affecting the council's capacity for abject reasoning on some of these things. But as Mr. Urbina said, maybe it's time to just sit down and just kind of see if we can kind of come to some resolution. So in the queue, we have Councilman Estrada.
Yes, I just want to remind the residents who are watching, I'm all for improving traffic and improving infrastructure, but I have to give a reminder that you can have infrastructure without warehouses. Those don't have to be the go-tos that develop and provide the infrastructure. You can have both. You can have good, well-paved roads, well-managed, not next to a warehouse. That is possible. Now, the second concern I have is the high concentration of pollution in Romo land. Right down the street, and we discussed it a little bit earlier, the Menifee Valley Specific Plan has large amounts of emissions. And now we're going to put another warehouse, large amounts of emissions. Romo land is a socioeconomically challenged area, and to put pollution there in the sake of dollars is not right. So I do not support the project.
Councilmember Sobek, were you in the queue? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just would like to ask our city attorney, there was a comment made about us going at, suing Paris and Paris suing us. Could we get clarification on this situation that we keep hearing from Paris?
Yes, Councilmember Sobek. First, the city of Menifee did file a lawsuit against the city of Paris, but it had nothing to do with any individual project. It had to do with the attempt to de-designate Ethonac as a roadway on which trucks could travel. And the court has ruled that the city of Paris's action on that front was illegal. The only other pending litigation is a lawsuit by the city of Paris against the city of Menifee with respect to a development at the corner of Ethonac and Barnett. And then, of course, the city of Paris has submitted 2 additional letters tonight, which are precursors on the path toward litigation. But the city of Menifee is not engaged in litigiousness with the city of Paris.
Thank you for that clarification.
Any other comments, council members? Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. I appreciate all the speakers here today. It's good when we hear the residents speak because that's what we're here for, is to listen. This project is bringing, and the one that Core 5's already worked on, well over $30 million worth of infrastructure improvements. I'm probably lowballing it now with everything. So, I mean, I think it'd be hard to find another developer that would come in here that, other than this type of development, that would be able to front $30 to $40 million worth of infrastructure. It will bring a benefit to the community. It will open up the possibility and infrastructure to bring in those other businesses that we really want to have, the industry that hires people and things like that. This is what opens it up for us. As as well as it does bring jobs, not only the short term, and great to have the apprentice program. If we can help with that, that's great, in my opinion. My son's gone through one, so I think it's important to realize is that this is not just a negative, but there'll be jobs to be had for our residents that otherwise have to travel north, wherever it is, and to put up with the bad roads, as been mentioned. Though, for the last 15 years of my career, I drove up the 215. It's been bad for a lot longer than the last few years. So I don't think it's all the trucks necessarily. But I think it's important to appreciate what this project brings in infrastructure development and jobs to the community. And I think it'll be a benefit to the community. Yes, there'll be trucks, but I think we've done as much as we can. The developers have done as much as they can to mitigate all that. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate their investment into Menifee and trying to make our community have a place where people can work and live at home. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Carwin?
Yeah, one thing I haven't heard a lot about, and Mayor, maybe you know more about this than I do, but the industrial nature of that part of the city was the intention of that part of the city when it was constructed. And in fact, Ethonac is designed to be a freeway that would carry truck traffic from 215 to 15 and kind of back and forth through the other areas. So this isn't something where we're taking a pastoral location and converting it to industrial. It was actually designed that way from the beginning, and people who have come in over there were aware of that. Maybe some hoped it would never happen. But what is that's right across Antelope from the development? There's if you look at the staff report or whatever what the slide is,
that's the Nova.
Yeah, that's the Nova battery storage, right? So you're not going to put in a spa across the street from that. It's kind of infrastructure built to sustain that, but the ancillary residences that are there are going to benefit from it. We've heard from the residents who live there who say, hey, we want paved roads, we want good drainage, we want better landscaping, we want those kinds of things that would beautify that section of the city. And it's an area of the city that has long been neglected as far as beautification and improvement. And I think this would bring all of those things. I actually just got an email from a resident who, Jesse Ramirez, who lives up there, who's asking, when are we going to pave that section of Antelope? And it's fortuitous that he didn't even know about this project coming up. So I think it would benefit the city. I agree with Councilman Estrada that, no one's looking for Menifee to be the new frontier for warehouses and heavy industrial. It's just that this particular section of the city was intended for that from the beginning, and now it's starting to fill in. So that's why I would support the resolution denying the appeal.
And you're absolutely right. It is a specific plan that was approved by the county, and so we inherited it, and it called for industrial in that area, so it is consistent with what was originally intended on the general plan land use map. So, did you want to make that motion?
If nobody else has any comments, I'll make a motion
That's
to
what I was
approve
gonna
the
ask.
resolution to deny the appeal.
And I will second that, Councilmember.
Do you want a full, is that good enough? Okay. All right, and that passes 4-1, and we will go ahead and move on to our next item. This is number 12, discussion items. There are 3. The first one, 12.1, is to discuss among ourselves a statutory increase compensation for members of the council that would take effect after 2024. And I believe Ms. Kramer is coming to the podium to help shepherd this item.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, as well as members of the public. My name is Rebecca Kramer. I'm the assistant to the city manager, and very happy to be with you tonight in this capacity. The item before you for consideration tonight is a possible increase in compensation for members of the City Council in alignment with recent changes that have been made to the California Government Code following the passage of Senate Bill SB 329 this past June. Let me move this forward. So compensation provided to the members of the City Council under our government code is established based upon the city's overall population, whereas the compensation provided to the mayor was established through a voter initiative process in 2014 that became effective and is set at $100 more per month than the compensation provided to the members of the City Council. So anytime that there would be a change in compensation for the members of the City Council, a corresponding increase would happen for the mayor. So it's important to note that under the California Government Code, compensation for general law cities, like the city of Menifee, has not been adjusted since 1984. Since that time, the consumer price index for the Riverside County area, which measures inflation, has risen more than 120%, including the 2023 calendar year. With the passage of Senate Bill 329, the maximum increase or base salary that can be paid to members of the City Council at this time, based on a city the size of Menifee with a population that ranges somewhere between 75,000 and 150,000 residents, is currently set at $1,900 per month. This change was intended to ensure that council compensation, one, kept pace with inflation, while also allowing individuals from diverse backgrounds across different income levels to serve the public as council members, while also continuing to support their families. So how does Menifee compare to our surrounding cities? Currently, compensation provided to our members of the City Council is set at $650 per month. That last increase was made or went into effect in 2014. By comparison, if you look at the city of Murrieta, their compensation was established through a voter initiative process and is set at 15% of the median family income for city residents. In the city of Temecula, they've recently increased their council compensation also to $1,900 per month following the change in the government code. The city of Paris, their compensation is set at just over $1,500 per month, and it's important to note that they also receive a vehicle allowance. The cities of Canyon Lake as well as Wildomar also recently increased their council compensation to align with the government code based upon their individual city's population. And I've been advised that the city of Lake Elsinore will soon be considering a comparable increase in their compensation. So tonight, you are asked to review and discuss a possible increase in compensation with the introduction of an ordinance which would take effect following the municipal election in 2024. If the base salary for council is increased to the maximum allowed under the government code, the monthly compensation would be increased by $1,250 per month for a total of $1,900 per month for each member of the city council, and the mayor's compensation would increase to $2,000 per month beginning in December of 2024. With that, I would be happy to address any questions you may have regarding options that could be considered relative to a compensation increase and walk through next steps. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kramer. Council members, do we have any questions? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, is there any request to speak?
No, I do not have any requests to speak.
And I think we did receive one correspondence item that's in our red folder, and there may be
That
others.
is correct.
And then, council members, so at this point, we can open up for discussion. What are your thoughts?
I'll go first. In national polling, the top two concerns of citizens in the United States are the economy and immigration. This one reflects on the former rather than the latter. I see that we are well behind our neighbors in city council compensation. I see that, and we tell our constituents that we're volunteers in this position. And no one who was elected who sits up here right now came here because of the compensation. And I don't think there's anyone who's sitting up here who would have changed their mind one way or another for the compensation. So I understand that no one ever likes to see public officials get a raise, but in this particular climate, in this particular where the economy is such a forefront concern, I think it sends the wrong message to our residents on our stewardness, our guidance over the city funds to give ourselves a raise when everyone else is struggling by that much. And I think it changes the tone of the position from volunteer stipend to almost a salaried position, which it was never intended to be. So I think it's the wrong time. I think we could revisit it in the next cycle, which would be 26. One of the things we did look into, and I'll tell the public, one of the things we did look into is maybe stepping this up, voting a sequence of increases over time, so it would be a lesser impact on the city, and we were told that we weren't able to do that. That's not something permitted to us under the law. So I would not favor an increase at this time and revisit it in 26.
All right, very good points. Thank you. Council members, any other comments? Anybody have thoughts they want to share? Go ahead.
I'll jump
Mayor
in
Pro
there.
Tem.
Always enjoy when Councilmember Carwin goes first. He's the brave one to go first. You know, I struggle with this one. I know that you know, it's difficult anytime to talk about raises for you know, elected officials. I remember that going through that with the county, and they went back and forth. They finally figured out they just tie their salary to the Superior Court judges, and that got them off the hook having to make the hard decision. We don't have that, so we're here making that decision. One thing that I think was one thing that caught me is in the presentation to increase the diversity of those able to serve the public and support their families. Right now, it's if you're retired or wealthy or self-employed, that's the representation you're going to get for your city. And there may be someone out there that with a little bit that was willing to do it, could do a good job, but would have to give up, you know, some employment or something like that to be on the council. I think that then just shuts the door to some of our residents to pursue their service into that, you know, certainly you don't have to take it. I mean, I guess if this looks like volunteers, like you can just, I guess, sign your check back over to the city, and that would you'd be a true public servant and volunteer. So I answered my question from Councilmember Carwin. I guess it's 1,900 or nothing, or is that or we can't do something different, or I don't. I'm asking questions. I just thought that one I should have asked earlier, but
can ask.
To answer your question, $1,900 would be the maximum
Maximum,
increase.
okay.
So yes, you could approve an increase that was less than that, somewhere between where you're at now at $650 a month, all the way up to $1,900 per month.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to this. For a lot of us, some of us will be terming out here in the near future. So, but I think we need to think of future councils and future residents that are able to and willing to serve, and this would help them to serve. That's the way I'm going at it. You know, the dollar amount, we're the largest city in all the comparisons here that you've provided for us. We're probably the fastest growing, and I think though, you know, we're looked at as volunteers, we're not volunteers, we're elected officials, and it's very time consuming to do that. And I think that time and energy and is worth something. Is it $650 a month compared to what the other cities are paying their per diems for their councils? We must be worth less, even though we're bigger. So, you know, I think it's time to do it. You know, take it out of the hands of the next city council. They won't have to worry about it. Do them a favor, but I'd be in support of this motion.
Okay, Councilmember Sobek's next.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Dinas. That caught my eye as well, is that to increase the diversity of those able to serve. And I thought how we as a council have been, we've tried to be inclusive to everyone that lives in the city. And I was thinking that if there was someone who wanted to have the opportunity to serve and maybe needed an automobile for $650 a month, they wouldn't be able to pay that car payment, the car insurance, and the gas to be able to serve. And so I'm kind of leaning towards the same way. It's a new law in the state of California. Our city's growing, and we might just find that little Jim who might like to serve, and that this would help them get over that little hump that they need.
Okay, Councilman Estrada, do you want to share? And then I'll go last.
Sure. Yeah, this is never a comfortable conversation to have. What stands out in my mind is this law has not been updated for 4 decades. The last time this was addressed was 1984. And 2024 is a very different year than 1984. And I'll leave it at that. I would support approving this.
Go ahead, Councilman.
One other thing I wanted to add is, about, that this sends a signal that other people aren't getting raises and stuff. But if you read the paper at all, the business section, there's been tremendous raises across all industries because of the inflation that we've had. So, I mean, to me, this helps us just to keep up with whatever the other cities are doing and what other industries are doing as well.
All right, very good. And again, I appreciate everybody's perspective, and we may not always agree, but that's what this is all about. So my thoughts, and I like Councilman Estrada said it, it's always awkward, right? It's never comfortable to talk about increases in salary and things like that, especially in an election year, or especially when we have discussions with bargaining units coming up and we want to set a precedent. And so my perspective is it's an honor to volunteer and serve. I would do this for zero pay. And I think about when I'm electing somebody, selecting the best candidate, I usually try to choose a volunteer that's running for the right reasons, and money is not one of them. And so to me, we should leave it alone. That's just my opinion. I like the fact that we have volunteers that are doing it from their heart. So what we're going to need now is a motion. So
I'll make the
I
motion.
think I heard 3 supporting the change. Did you want to do a full change, Councilman, in your motion, or did you want to find a number that maybe we can all agree on?
Yeah, I'll just make the motion because, we can't agree, we can't all even agree on whether we want this or not, let alone, have something less. We could tie it like Marietta to the medium income, but I don't even know what our median income is, but I don't know if that's necessarily the proper way to go. That hasn't been vetted out yet, so I hate to say that as the way to go.
Well, before you make a motion, I would support a yes vote to find something that's maybe in the middle.
As in?
Adding $400 or something like that to the base that we have.
That still brings us way below what other cities are paying. We're the
Are we
largest city.
competing, or I mean, what's the?
Well, if we value our city and those who serve it as in a capacity of elected official, we should recognize that, in my opinion.
Okay, make your motion.
I'll move approval
Of,
of staff recommendation.
so the full state limit, right?
If you were to move forward with the ordinance as presented, it would be an increase to $1,900 per month. This would be your first reading, and at the next council meeting, we would bring the ordinance back for a second reading.
Yeah, before we do that, let me withdraw my motion and give other council members a chance to speak on something less. I mean, we're not, you and I aren't negotiating, this is for the whole council.
True. But before we do, I think we have Mr. Melching and possibly the clerk.
I think we were in it for the same thing, so I'll defer to Sarah.
Okay.
If the motion is to approve the recommended action, I will need to I need to read the title of the ordinance to introduce it.
All right, when we get there.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the reminder. I will definitely prompt you on that once we're there. So, council members, Mayor Pro Tem said maybe we can open up for any additional discussion to consider a different amount or a lesser amount, or not, and just have him just make the motion for the full amount. It's totally up to you guys. Go ahead, Councilman Estrada.
I second Councilman Dynas.
Full amount?
I second Councilman Dynas.
Okay, I'll make the motion then. Withdraw my motion before you had that discussion, so there was none on the table.
Okay.
Am I correct in doing it that way?
You're correct. So
Okay, earn my pay tonight.
in sequence, it is Mayor Pro Tem Dynas making the motion, the title of which Sarah will read in a moment. I don't want to get that confused with the second, which will be Councilmember Estrada. You should say you second, though.
I now second.
All right. Madam Clerk, if you would read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Menifee, California, approving a statutory increase in compensation for the members of the City Council to take effect after the November 2024 municipal election.
All right, no call for the question. And the tally is 3 yeses and myself and Councilman Carwin dissenting, so that passes. All right, let's move to our next agenda item. This is item 12.2, and it is the ordinance introduction to repeal and replace the chapter regarding regulation of massage establishments. And I see Captain Gutierrez is here. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, Captain Dave Gutierrez with the Menifee Police Department. Here to present this ordinance introduction for the repeal and replacement of Chapter 5.45 of Title 5 related to massage establishments. So just a little bit of background. Menifee Police Department took over police services in the city of Menifee July 1st of 2020. One of our stated goals is to always look for opportunities to better serve our community. And one of those ways is finding tools and mechanisms to give to our staff to be able to do that. And the municipal code does just that. And so a review of Chapter 5.45 of Title V revealed just such an opportunity for us to be able to increase accountability with massage establishments and bring our ordinance up to current standards. So this chapter was last updated in 2009. The ordinance currently has some good components. However, a review of it, we're recommending repealing and replacing it as described in Exhibit A. We do believe that these changes are both fair to the massage therapy industry and the city, which we want to balance those needs there. And I will first preface this by saying there are many massage businesses all over the place that are legitimate and do a great service to the community. A little bit more background. Since taking over police services in July of 2020, our police department has conducted several investigations, in large part based upon community concerns, open source searches, and those investigations revealed illicit activity where we ultimately made a criminal arrest and recommended the revocation of business licenses. So our research was pretty extensive, and I want to just give a shout out to the collaborative effort of our problem-oriented policing team, our special enforcement team, our code enforcement team, our finance department, as well as the city attorney's office to bring this forth to you today. We did speak to the Riverside County District Attorney's Office based on their expertise in investigating these types of crimes in these businesses, the Riverside County Human Trafficking Group. That's important because a lot of these, several massage parlors, they're susceptible to human trafficking. Fortunately, we do investigate that component, and we have not found that yet here in Menifee, but that is something that is always on our mind. And again, putting accountability measures properly in place, we'll keep it that way. And then, of course, we have staff from all over California and beyond and other states that have a vast amount of experience and have seen successes with some of these recommendations that we're bringing forth this evening to you for consideration. So I won't read all of these, but there's more than what I have up here. There's a couple of slides, but significantly, we're recommending to change the operational hours. Currently, they're allowed to open at 7 a.m. and operate until 10 p.m. We want to change that to 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. There's a recommended prohibition against selling, giving away, dispensing, providing, or preparing alcoholic beverages or food in these establishments. We wanted to come into compliance with the fire code here with this ordinance and put a prohibition against open flames, which in some massage parlors would be in the form of candles. Adding additional language requiring patrons to be properly draped, along with a prohibition against sleeping beds. We don't want people living in these businesses. A specific detailed prohibition against sexual activity and locking massage room doors. Adding a requirement that there's a list of services and prices posted in an open and conspicuous place. So it's just, it just brings transparency and openness to these things and what these businesses are actually allowed to do and the services that they're providing. So if another service is provided to a patron, it's a clear violation of that. Adding a requirement for each massage service provided to keep a ledger. Again, just an added accountability measure for our code enforcement team or detectives to be able to inspect to make sure that there's legitimacy behind all of the services they're providing. And there is a prohibition against being used as a residence. We do have one business in town that operates, it's a home-based business, so there is an exception for that. A prohibition against warning devices. There's some out-call massage requirements. Clarifying what the massage therapist can wear. That's a big thing. You know, we enter some of these businesses and they're completely inappropriately dressed for massage therapy. Adding a section regulating certain advertising practices. This is another thing. You go online to some of these that we investigated, and the images of the females and stuff, they're not dressed appropriately, and so it just portrays the wrong image of what is going on at those massage parlors. So this would be a violation to do those type of advertisements. A requirement for all owners and operators to be present on premises unless they have a designated manager that we would be aware of and that we can make contact with. Added a section prohibiting applicant from reapplying for a massage business license for a period of 1 year if their license has been denied or revoked for failure to comply with ordinance. We worked extensively with the city attorney's office to make sure we were within the law on this. I'll tell you, investigating these businesses can sometimes be a big challenge because we close them down and then they go to a family member or they go to a friend and somebody else tries to reopen them right away. And absent a requirement like this, it doesn't allow us to prevent that from happening. Added a section that would prohibit a new massage business license being approved for a period of 1 year at a location where a license has been revoked for massage therapy. And then we added a section prohibiting a new massage business from opening at the same location where a CUP had been revoked in the last 5 years. It was important to us to do some outreach on this so that the community and specifically the massage businesses that are currently operating in the city had an opportunity to weigh in and give us their opinions and their thoughts on it. So we reached out to them in October of last year. We had a meeting with them, our problem-oriented policing officers. Our team met with there were 4 current massage businesses and 1 prospective massage business owner that came to the meeting. It was a very productive meeting. They did ask a lot of questions, but ultimately everybody was in support of repealing and replacing this as we've described here tonight. And that's just a screenshot of the community flyer that we created to mail out to these businesses as well as the owners. So our recommended action here tonight is to introduce an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 5.45 of Title 5 of the Menifee Municipal Code relating to the regulation of massage establishments.
Thank you, Captain. All right, council members, do we have any questions? Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you, Captain. I appreciate the report on this and the language that's in there. I had 2 kind of areas of questioning. One is from the staff report, the language in the staff report. In the first section, I want to make sure I understand the scope of what we're dealing with here. It says, currently there are 5 massage businesses operating within the city. And then it says, team conducted surveillance and undercover operations related to an additional 5 massage businesses within the city. And then it says all 5 investigations resulted in the business license revoked for criminal acts. Yes. So does that mean, how are the additional 5 businesses operating with a license if we didn't know about them?
So essentially, I'm just bifurcating. When we first showed up, there were 10 businesses operating that we were aware of in the city. 5 still currently operate today. The other 5 were part of those investigations, and those 5 have been closed down. So as we speak right now, there's 5 licensed massage establishments in the city of Menifee.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I just wanted to understand the scope of what we're dealing with here. And then with regard to the actual language of the ordinance, you went through some of the most significant recommended changes, but as you would probably expect from me, my one question is something that's not on this list, which is I'm curious about the term that requires massage businesses to report new hires within 10 days and terminations within 10 days. We don't do that for any other businesses, so I'm wondering what the benefit of that is.
The benefit is one of our requirements in the ordinance, the business licensing ordinance, is they're required to have a state license through the Massage Therapy Council to be able to have a business within the community. All their massage therapists have to have that certification. And so absent us continually looking at the Massage Therapy Council on a daily basis, we put the onus on the businesses to make sure that they notify us if they have somebody come or go from or lose their license or hired. Because if we do an inspection, we want a list of who's supposed to be operating there and who's not supposed to be operating there. And so this is just another measure of accountability for those businesses.
Well, we don't do that for, say, nail salons or for barbershops, which are also requiring licensure through the state and county.
Absolutely.
So it feels like this is a burden only on legitimate businesses because they're going to be the only ones who are willing to report the people who they hire and fire, and they're not the ones that we need it for. So I'm just concerned that we're putting some sort of potential violation on the businesses that we're not looking to target by including this language.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Unfortunately, with massage therapy, like I said, there are absolutely legitimate businesses that operate every day in communities all across the nation. But this particular profession, these businesses are very susceptible to victimization of people.
But if they bring in somebody for human trafficking, they're not going to report that person as a new hire to the city.
Yeah, and the second part of that would be that being a specific violation for not doing something that would be routine for a legitimate business owner gives us the ability to issue a notice of violation and hold them accountable and start that conversation and start that investigation with that business.
So my last question on the subject is, when you had the outreach where the businesses showed up and had an opportunity to review, was that language in the proposed ordinance that they reviewed? And did anybody express a problem with having to comply with that?
It was specifically talked about, and none of the businesses that showed up to our community meeting had any concerns with it.
Then if they don't care, I don't care.
Other questions, council members? All right, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
No, we do not.
And is there any correspondence in our folder?
Yes, no.
If there is,
it's there, yes.
I'm just reading my prompts here. All right. With that, council members, we can open a discussion or a motion, and at some point, I'm going to ask the clerk to read the ordinance by title once that motion is made.
I'll make a motion, we approve this.
Okay.
12.2.
Yeah, and I'll second. So, Madam Clerk, will you please read the ordinance by title?
Yes, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Menifee, California, repealing and replacing the entirety of Chapter 5.45 of the Menifee Municipal Code relating to massage establishments.
All right. I just need a prompt to second.
I'm going to do it for you, and then I'm going to open the vote.
Okay, very good. And that passed unanimously. Thank you, Captain Gutierrez. We're going to move to item 12.3. This is the Southern Gateway Specific Plan Ad Hoc Subcommittee.
That's the name of my new band.
Is it?
Yeah.
You guys rock. All right, and I see Mr. Hernandez is here, so welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. It looks like one of the members is already in, I guess. In alignment with the strategic plan, the city initiated the specific plan in Southern Gateway. That was late last year. If you recall, back in December, we came in with a contract to hire our consultant. That happened in December 6th. We have officially started the process. We had a kickoff meeting early last month. As part of this process, we want input from the beginning from City Council. So we're here to require or request that the formation of an ad hoc committee from the City Council. We anticipate this is going to be an 18-24-month process. There's going to be quarterly meetings. We think about 4-5 meetings probably at the most. You see an outline that we have here in terms of what the topics are going to be in terms of the workshops that we're anticipating. Workshop number 1, which we think it's going to be in early summer. It's going to be the opportunities and constraints. Towards the end of the year, we're going to have the land use alternatives. And next year, obviously, will be the draft of the specific plan and eventually the final SB as well. So as an incentive to get volunteers, I'm going to bring some snacks for those meetings. So hopefully that would assist in getting a couple volunteers. So with that, obviously, we're here to request that the council form the subcommittee, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Council members, do we have any questions of staff on this? Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers or any correspondence?
No speakers, and correspondence would be in your folders.
All right, Councilmember Sobek.
Yeah, I just think since this is located in District 2, it might be nice to give Councilmember Estrada the opportunity to serve on this ad hoc committee if he's willing to accept that.
Oh, thank you very much for that nomination, Councilwoman Sobek. I'd be honored.
I'd also hope that the mayor would be willing to serve, because this has been his, he's been championing this for a long time now, and I'd like to see his, I know you only have 10 months, but you can do a lot of good in those 10
I think that
last 10 months.
institutional knowledge would be great. I'll
So you
second
get,
that.
yeah, because that way you can get direct, point in the right direction. And get
Thank you
moving.
both. I appreciate that, and I agree. Are you okay with that, Bob?
Yeah, I was going to second the nomination of Councilman Estrada, since if we needed to do that. So I'm in agreement with both of those.
All right, so the committee, ad hoc committee will be Councilman Estrada and myself, and what we'll need now is just a vote to ratify those appointments. Thank you for the vote of confidence, council members. Look forward to working with you, Councilman Estrada.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Looking forward to it.
All right, that vote is unanimous, so thank you. Let's go to item 13. Mr. City Attorney, anything for us?
No, Mayor.
And item 14, Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, I have a couple comments. Just want to thank the council for bringing me back. Feels really good to be back at the helm. I want to thank Rebecca Kramer for doing such a great job. I think we have a great institution here and a management style that allowed us to continue despite my absence. I also want to thank the two speakers that spoke earlier today for the vote of confidence and the many, many emails that I received from the community and colleagues about their support. Like I said, I'm glad to be back, and we have many, many things to do here in Menifee. We're one of the fastest growing communities. There's a great deal of vision. There's a lot of projects that are coming to our community, projects that the community has been asking for. And we want to make sure that we implement those projects and bring those amenities to our community. So thank you again.
All right, well said, and I think we all are in agreement and support both to have you back and also for Ms. Kramer's excellent service. So let's move on now. Item 15, this is future agenda requests. Councilmember Sobek.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. There was an ad hoc committee, the Amphitheater Ad Hoc Committee, that I and Councilmember Dinas served on. I was wondering if we might bring that back, I don't know, as a future agenda item to continue that and to talk about what the future vision is of the amphitheater.
Is the ad hoc committee still in existence? I mean, it hasn't ended, right?
But the direction has changed. So that's what I don't know if we need to discuss it or not.
I just want to make sure I understand why there would be a need for the ad hoc committee if it's still there. And if,
Okay.
if
Yeah, I don't
needed,
know.
I think you can still meet together, right?
Mayor,
Jeff?
just a suggestion on
Yeah.
this one. In order for a committee, if a committee has a continuing existence beyond its original purpose, it becomes a Brown Act committee, and then it therefore has
so
to
it
go
is
through all of the agendizing requirements. So usually we set up ad hoc committees, like the one we just set up for the specific plan, to have a limited duration and a specific purpose. And I think what Councilmember Sobek's point is that the specific purpose, the original specific purpose, has run its course on the amphitheater. So you may be able to keep the same committee, but then give it a new mission.
What is that new mission?
The new mission is talking about the future of how we would like to either create, you know, a nonprofit in the city, what we want to see, to give direction to staff, to see the vision of what it can become.
Are you referring to how it's used, you know, whether
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the productions and
Yeah,
things
kind
like
of a
that?
vision, to have a vision. So that when when it's completed, we're not just,
I'll second and see
Any-
what staff
Yeah.
comes back with.
Committee's gonna,
I
we
don't
just
know.
need to change our focus,
it.
and we may need just one discussion, but I didn't know what we needed to do, so that's why I brought it forward.
okay,
I'll second. I'm not.
okay, there you go.
We'll see
Thank
All
you.
right, next
what
up
it
is
entails.
Councilman Carwin.
I just want to make sure this was related to the absence of minutes from the last meeting. I had made a future agenda item that didn't make it onto the list of future agenda items for a feasibility study on the addition of accessible and adaptive sports camp programs. And I want to make sure that doesn't get lost and from the list of future agenda items.
Okay, good reminder.
Thank you.
And I apologize for that. It has been added, and I also have a separate list for staff and for all of the future agenda items that you, as the council, ask for, so that we know who's taking the lead on it. So we discuss those at our meetings. So yes.
Yeah, I knew there
they're
wasn't anything nefarious. I just wanted to make sure that it,
Okay.
for the next one, it made it on there, just so it stayed on track.
All right, way to bird dog that. Sometimes they vaporize, right? All right, Councilmember Sobek, I think you had mentioned that we might want to adjourn in
Yes.
honor.
Yes. So I'd like to have our city council, if you all agree, that we close our meeting tonight in honor of Officer Juan Sanchez, who was part of our Menifee Police Department inaugural police department as one of our first police officers. He lost his fight with cancer recently.
All right, so I think we're all in agreement, so let's go ahead and adjourn in memory of Juan Sanchez, former police officer here in Menifee. All right, with that, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Good meeting.